All right, today we're hanging out with Blain from Preferred Home Services, and we're going to talk about what it's taken to build a $5.97 million plumbing company, multiple shops. What a badass hat. Blain, tell us the shake, baby.
What's up, man? How y'all doing today? How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Good to see you. You like that? That's that. I'm not going to promote them, but hey, that's a big hat.
That's awesome. I love it. I want one. Shoot me the link, bro.
Hey, we put these when someone gets employee of the month, we're gonna start putting this on them and take their picture with it, put it on our socials.
That is so tight. I love it. I can't wait to get mine for real. I got to make a video with it too. I can already see it. So Blain, thank you so much. So today, guys, in today's podcast, it's the Strictly Plumbers Millionaire podcast. Over here, we're doing $5.97 million a year, but we're going to talk about very specific questions. Let me give you the lowdown on the questions before Blain jumps right in. It's going to be like, what year did this company start and how long did it take to make the first million? And the next question is, what is the best practice that allowed you to make that first million? Next question is, what is one of the things that held you back from cracking that first million? And then the next one is, what are you currently doing right now to hit your next million? And how much is that? Obviously, you guys are kissing 6 million right now. Pretty cool. What do you feel? The next question is, what do you feel your plumbing business needs a little bit of help with at this moment? And let's see here. We also want to know about your success story, right? Where did you come from? Tell us about your story. Also, another question is, how do you spend it? What are your hobbies? What are you doing nowadays? How do you have your fun? What are you spending this money on? That's it right there. We're gonna wrap it up. And if there's anything else in particular that you want to touch base on, we'll wrap it up right there, Blain. So the first one, baby, let's rock and roll. When did this company start? How the hell did you get to kiss 6 million right now? But when did it start and how long did it take to make the first million?
Well, the company started in 2014 out of Charleston. Dave Geiger, Chris Geiger, Krista Campley, Kyle Geiger, and Dave Geiger started this business in Charleston. So they grew it. We started this branch. We greenfielded this branch in June of 2021. That's when we started here. So that's when I came on board. I came on to get into a truck and run the plumbing division until we got to a certain spot, which was 5 technicians. Once we got to 5 technicians, I came out of the truck and just did full-time management. So we started that in June of 2021.
Nice. So, that's like right before COVID or right around COVID time, right? So I'm assuming
Yes.
that stuff totally blew you up. I think you mentioned you're doing like 1.7 million with that company. So like from there to now, that's pretty great, dude. I got to give you props on that, first of all, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is one of the best practices that allowed you to get from, let's just say A to B
Right. So I think that the biggest thing with us coming from a greenfield project is what really got our guys to be successful is really focusing on call scarcity. So I think it's something that a lot of companies take advantage of, or the technicians, they just don't understand, like, when you only have a couple calls a day, like between 3 or 4 guys, you really got to take your time on these calls. And I think that's been the driving force to our success in this branch, because every single guy that has been here since the beginning, there were times when we didn't have very many calls. So you really had to take your time with them, do proper inspections, really offer a lot of options. And that's how we really succeeded so quickly, in my opinion, is just treating every call like it's literally going to be their only one that day. Because it should, some days it was their only calls. And the culture in my team has grown that way since the beginning. So now that, the phones are ringing, now we just crossed 2 years since we opened this branch. Now the phones are ringing every day. We got, calls being booked the day before. But they still have that culture on the team where, we're going to treat every call like it's our last. And I've been with companies, where you want to try to have that culture. You really do. But it's just really difficult when guys are, you're telling them treat every call like it's one, you're only going to get 1 call a day. But then they know that phone's still ringing and still ringing and still ringing. They start to take advantage of it, or they get tired, or they're just ready to go home and do whatever they want to do. But my guys, because of the way we started and had to greenfield this branch, like they take every single call like it's going to be their last. And then it's that culture has really bred, and we've really focused on doing repipes and being that company in town that people can call. And repipes is a big deal for us. That's something we decided early on we wanted to be known for, is going in and replumbing homes and giving them all the options. And so I think that's been a big driving force to our success at this point. Hope that answers your question.
I love it. I love how you touch base on mindset a little bit beyond a skill set, right? Because we got to be good plumbers, but we got to have a good mindset, right? And to make it all happen. And so I think having that mindset of this could be my last call ever, right? Maximizing the call is what you're doing.
Right.
With that mindset. It's derived from that mindset. And so I think I could see these guys squeezing all the juice out as much as possible. I don't know if they're like commission or hourly, but they're definitely with that mindset, they're gonna try harder,
right.
Which kind of entails a little bit of sales training, right? Like the guys have to be really good salesmen, not like ethical salesmen, not like cheesy, pushy salesmen.
Yeah.
Good sales. I think it was about 2 years ago, I decided to start offering sales training for plumbers, because before I quit my job at Rescue Rooter, that was the position that I held. After about 10 years of plumbing, like the last 5 or so, I was the sales training manager and overlooking multiple shops. So I got really good at that, and I was able to sell $50,000 to $100,000 a month on a regular basis. And I had my method. Of course, there was a lot of repipes, and very turning service calls into repipes. And so if there's somebody listening to the podcast and you hear this and you hear Blain saying, hey, get organized, have these guys maximize the calls, and they're just not doing it. He's right. Make them start with that mindset. Like, what if this was your only call? And then add some skills to that, right? So if you guys need help with sales training for plumbers, I would go visit a website that I own. It's called www.salestrainingforplumbers.com. And it actually teaches you how to sell 50 to 100K a month as a plumber, an employee. So if the employees are doing that for the owners, everybody's winning, right? And it's the bomb. So Blain, let's move on to the next one. Very similar question, just opposite side of the spectrum. So choose a different topic. And the question is, what is one of the things that held you back from making $1 million in your first
Well, this question is pretty easy for me to answer, but it's also going to kind of tie into what I'm going to do to make the next, because what really held us back this year was not having our own septic pump truck. So in the area that we live in, there's a lot of septic tanks. We're outside, we're upstate Greenville, South Carolina. So, you got Greenville, Spartanburg, Easley, but then you got, or Anderson, but then you got a lot of rural areas around where there's a lot of septic tanks. So, we figure 60 to 70% of our customer base in our area is septic tank also. So it really held us back not having our own pump truck this year, or up to this point. And, having to sub all that out. So we've lost out on a lot of opportunity, because not only that, but on top of, you got to have a good relationship with who you're subbing that with, because they'll just grab those customers and go, and we're in it to help customers. We're in it for the repairs and the replacements and all that stuff. We're not trying to be just a pump truck company. We want to help people permanently, because we always thought the power of having licensed plumbers in a pump truck is something pretty strong. You got people that run our system in a pump truck, that run our options and have, the backing of finance behind it. And, you can really help people that normally would just be getting, normal pump trucks would just be coming and pumping and leaving. They'll take that money, every other year, whatever. But so that held us back this year. That I think we could have grown even faster had we had a pump truck, but they're expensive, obviously.
Yeah. So you septic, right? You're pumping out septic tanks or grease traps. What are you pumping out?
We're going to stick to septic. We're not getting into the grease.
Okay. Cool. So, that's actually a really cool niche. I have some clients that specialize in septic, and I find that Google is a good place for it, because people are punching in like septic pump out, and that's a really good keyword. Septic pumping,
Right. Yeah. It's a good keyword to go after. But, and also not only that, like, we didn't market for it at all, at all. And we ran across so much of it just organically on accident, because
Wow.
people call in and they're like, it's coming in as a mainline clog, but you get out there, they're on septic tank. Lots of times these people don't even know that they're on septic tank. And it happens all the time. So, we just fell into a lot of it organically, but we gave a lot of that revenue away in pump cost and having to sub that out. But
that is so amazing. I'm not sure what year, like when y'all started to compare to like when the truck came in. Actually, you mentioned it was like last year, right? So, how old is the business right now? It was from 2000
in Greenville. So we're talking about the Greenville branch basically today. Overall, I have 10 plumbers in Greenville. We have 32 in Charleston. So, I'm running Greenville, but we haven't gotten a pump truck yet. So we haven't, I'm just saying everything that we've subbed out throughout the course of up to this point. But hold tight, because you got another question coming up. So, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm stoked. You're stoked. I feel like some of the plumbers, like we have our agenda, right? We want to build this plumbing company, and maybe we specialize in drain cleaning, but the market that y'all servicing calls out for something very particular. And sometimes we just got to pivot towards what the market is feeding us. And
that's right.
That, right? Instead of,
yeah.
Hey, I'm going to do faucets and water heaters, dude, go pump these things out all day, and do the faucets and water heaters. Let somebody else do them in your shop,
Right.
But I feel like every area, every city has, like, some guys have cast iron, some guys have PVC, some guys have ABS, right? And some guys have Orangeburg, right? And so let's go tackle that old cast iron in Orangeburg.
That's right. That's what we're going for.
I love that you guys pivoted to the market instead of just your dreams, and then you're solving the problem in the market. That's like world-class marketing there.
And that's also what's cool about being a greenfield, is that we're constantly pivoting, we're constantly evolving, getting this really good person we think is going to be here forever, and then they leave, or something. You just constantly having to adjust to the market. But that's something, I give credit to our general manager here, Sean Coley. He's that was always his brainchild. He's always been pushing for that septic truck. So, but yeah, that's what held us back a little in the last year, is not having that. And there's no telling how many of those pumps that we subbed out to another company really had issues that then we never heard about, because
they kept them.
They never told us about them. So
for sure. So all right, so this kind of leads into the next question. So what are you doing right now to hit the next million? If you're doing 1.73, actually that's where you are year to date, you'll probably crush for your shop.
Last year, just plumbing in Greenville last year, we did 2.6. So that was our first full calendar year.
Nice.
At a 77% closing rate, $1,700 average ticket. So, doing pretty good. But yeah, go ahead with your question.
So what is your next million? Are you shooting for the 3, for the 4? And and like, what are you doing different to try to get to that goal?
Well, waiting on my pump truck to get back from the wrap. That's what I'm waiting on. We did buy a pump truck, and it is at the wrap company right now being wrapped. So once we get it back, it gets inspected. We get all of our pump stuff set up with the dump sites, and then that's how we plan on growing, other than just your typical year-on-year growth, which this company in the past has went for 40%. We've really made a company effort this year to slow down, and get better at what we're, and not worry about the growth as much as just the quality. And so that we made a company effort this year from leadership down to slow down, not focus on so much growth, but just get better at everywhere. So this company here, other than just growing with technicians and doing your typical growth with a plumbing service company, we're adding a pump truck fleet, which is it's gonna spawn another underground crew, which is going to spawn, needing more operators and installers. And so I think, we don't have a budget completely set out for it yet, but, we're thinking it's going to be we're looking to shoot for at least another $1 million in revenue off of the pump truck and the installs that are going to come with it, in the first year of having the truck on the road.
Nice. That is so exciting. I absolutely love it. You know, I want to give you some advice. When you get that pump truck and it's going to look badass, all new and shiny, my recommendation is to not just throw money at Google, and you know, also throw a little bit of money at Facebook, and you can target by zip codes. So if you got a certain area
Yes.
where they have septic, hit them with
Yep.
septic. And you want to build 3 ads. The first one is, we will help you with septic pump out in this area. And then the second one will be like an example, usually like a customer testimonial, or you guys, an example of you guys doing it. And then the third ad should be like a hardcore promotion, some type of discount, making them take action. And
Yeah.
those 3 ads would help that launch of that sump pump. Just, and you guys are killing it anyways. Just
Yeah,
wanted
man.
to, you know, give you some advice on what you can do to be proactive, to let the market know that you guys got this thing, instead of waiting for them to go look on Google and then hopefully find y'all. You know?
Yeah, so you know how most of these markets have their $99 drain special, 79, you know, whatever. We got something up our sleeve for that. That's how I know how smart you are, because you basically just said exactly what, you know, you laid the plan out without even knowing it. But yeah, we're gonna throw out something that's gonna kick in the doors in our area, and it's gonna let everybody know we're here to play. So we might make some companies mad in the process, but you know, all is fair in love and war, right? There's plenty of work to go around, but no, I mean, that is definitely what we're planning on doing.
That's awesome. The next question is, what do you feel your plumbing business needs a little bit more help with at this moment?
It's hard to say what we really, you know, that my team is, you know, I know, you know, I listened to another one of your podcasts. Certainly, guy said the same thing. Shout out to, was it Taylor's Plumbing, Taylor's Plumbing. But,
yeah.
you know, I mean, these guys are really operating on such a high level. Like you know, I got 6 techs, 2 installers, 2 install leads, an apprentice, and another operator. So, you know, 10 on the staff right now, but 6 technicians sitting at 1.7 already for this year. I mean, they're really firing on all cylinders. And like I said, with call volume, it's there now. You know, we're coming in, we're busy every day. I think what we need more is just, you know, what we need right now is just to keep cultivating our friendship and our partnership with some of the other pump trucks in town, and making sure that as we go through this path, you know, we don't make mistakes that don't have to be made just out of being ignorant or pride. You know what I'm saying? Like reaching out to people that have been there. But you know, and just like anybody, you can always have more calls. We need more customers all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. So it sounds like you mentioned earlier, like you guys are slowed down a little bit and focused on quality. I'm doing the same thing in my business. I completed year 4 right now. And what I wanted to do is not so much slow the growth, is quality, like you mentioned, and so I'm calling it the year of refinement.
Yeah, I like that.
I found so many things in my business that needed fixing. I found so many things, like I even fired some people, hired some people. Like this year has been, we're in month 6 right now, or you know, halfway through the year, and I'm still working on it, and I've gained back like 20% of, you know, it's just amazing what happens when you work on the business in a certain fashion. And so I'm glad that you guys are refining it, and you're probably exposing all kinds of cool stuff that you get to not just fix, but make better. Some things are not broken, but you can make them better, you know?
Right. That's right.
That's tight. You know, I
think it's important to do, like, you know, any operators are out there that are just growing, and you're just kind of naturally growing, you know, that seems to be the way that it was with Preferred, is we just naturally grew to a big level. And then we had to take a step back. Hey, you know, there's only so many plumbers out there. There's only so much HVAC techs. You know, we got to really just focus on keeping who we have, and slow down the growth a little bit, and just get better, and make sure everybody's happy, and you make sure everybody's on the same page before we continue to try to, you know, hit that next gear again. But, you know, being a greenfield operation up here, we've still got our core that started it. You know, we started with 2 plumbing trucks, 2 HVAC trucks, and 2 HVAC install trucks. And we're up to 36 trucks now between, and we started running calls, June the 7th of 21 was our first calls. So yeah, I got my first plumbing sales right there. Right there, June
Nice.
7th, 2021. That was the first plumbing sale. But
Wow.
so yeah, we just slow down, get better,
Yeah, that's awesome. And let me see. I got another very specific question for you here. You kind of shared a little bit. I was going to ask you, like, tell us your success story. Where did you come from? I think you were plumbing for like 17 years before you got into this. I think you mentioned.
Yeah,
Tell
man.
me a little bit about yourself, brother. Tell me, like, where did you come from? Like, I see you ended up here. Tell us about your
Yeah.
past. What
Yeah,
happened?
man. It's so my mother was in the mortgage business growing up. My dad, had a pressure washing awning business. So my dad's always taught me to, hey, be self-sufficient, work for yourself, and then my mom was in the mortgage business making great money. And so right after high school, I got into that. I started processing loans for her.
Wow.
Was originating by the time I was 21, but then my first son was born. He's 18 years old now, just graduated high school. So he was born in 2004. And about 2000, probably 5.5, something like that. Someone that I really respected that I grew up around, that was a good friend of my mother's, took me to lunch one day and said, Blain, you need to do something else. Like you got to figure out what you can do, because mortgages are it's about to get wild. And so, I didn't listen to him at first, but about 6 months later, started thinking about it. I wasn't there a lot with the kids. It was just deals were falling apart at the closing table, all that stuff. So I was like, I got to find something else to do. So went to work for my ex-wife's best friend's dad had a little plumbing company. I was their first employee. It was a father-son team at that time doing new construction. So I went to work for them. They paid me good to be an apprentice and did new construction for a couple years, but then 2008 hit, and then the new construction stuff kind of fell apart. Yeah. So I got laid off, man. We were doing these big $1 million houses up at the lake, and all that stuff just came to a screeching halt. So I drove across town to another major service company and walked in. I was like, I'm not a service plumber, but I can do it, and you put me on the install crew, whatever. And what I thought was cool about it was they hired me on the spot, but the first day I went in and I saw, how you can relate sales to plumbing, I fell in love with it first day. Cause I was like, man, I was always an entrepreneur in high school. And, like I said, my dad taught me, I always figured I'd be working for myself one day. And, I've always been in some kind of sales, even mortgage business. A lot of that's really, there is some sales involved to it. Back then there was, talking to people and stuff, but I was really kind of fell in love with it, of the service side of plumbing day one. Like I knew, okay, this is for me. Like this is what I need to be doing. Like I enjoyed plumbing, but I didn't know I was going to be a licensed plumber back then. It's just, I really fell in love with it that day, being in front of people, talking to them, giving them options. And then it just grew throughout the years, throughout my training. I worked for that company for about 1.5 years, got laid off from that company. And you had said something about Mr. Reuter earlier. I went to Mr. Reuter in Greenville and worked there for 4 years, and then came back to another company for 10 years. And then I got recruited to come here where I'm at now. I had no plans on being a manager, or I had been kind of building myself to like, okay, I'm going to go run my own business. It's about that time. Every customer you go to, they're like, why don't you own your own business? And I just always said I didn't want the headache of it. But I got a good friend that was with this business, gave me a great opportunity, and it was just the right time of my life to make a move. A month before I made the move, I had no intentions on it. It came up, and I really like the idea of being part of a ground floor. In my area, there's 5 Nexstar companies. So, there's not a lot of new stuff coming up. Like if you wanted to make a move from where I was at, you're going to have to go to one of these other big established companies. And that's not what I wanted. I was like, I'm going to go run my own business before I do that. But when this opportunity came up, heart said, jump on it. I jumped on it, and it's been amazing. Like I love what I do. Got a great team. Leadership is what I really love about it now, leading these men and coming to work every day. It's different. Like I always said, one day I'm going to write a book about putting down your tools and going into an office, because I think that's a huge deal for a lot of plumbers. A lot of guys do that, and it's And I'm sure you, man, I mean, you could probably help me write the book. Let's write it.
I could. I wrote 2 of them so far, got them published. But I'm gonna piggyback on a couple of things that winning this time back, putting the tool bags down, getting out of the van and getting behind the desk, playing that manager or CEO role where you're working on the business instead of in the business. I also went through it.
Yep.
Right before this, I went to go pick up my daughters from gymnastics. That's the bomb for me. I didn't used to do that shit when I was a service plumber. I was underneath somebody else's sink. And now, like, I barely want to get under my own sink. You know?
Yeah, I know, man. I got stuff that needs to be done. I had a tankless water heater sit in my building for like 7 months, I think, before I finally put it in. I was like, yeah, I'm with you, man. I got 3 daughters and a son. So
sweet.
I got 4 kids. One of my daughters graduated early this year, so I had 2 just graduate.
Wow.
She's going to be starting college at Clemson in August. So I'm with you, man. The son was easy, I followed him around to baseball games and stuff, and we did that travel stuff and all that. But the girls are expensive. That goes into your next question. What do I spend my money on? I was going to say that.
It is. What do you spend?
I got a daughter that is competition dance, and we travel with her, and it's they keep you busy, man. And now I'm about to be spending my money on 2 colleges. So
yeah. That's amazing. So he spends it on the family. That's what's up. I think that's the most important thing. That's the reason we work so hard.
Yep.
It's the fulfilling the dream is like the byproduct, all the shiny, fancy stuff. But I think we do it for our family,
Yeah.
My second daughter made me quit my job and which was Rescue Rooter, ARS. And I opened up, Strictly Plumbers. I'm not wearing the shirt right now, but and changed my life. So happy, won my time back. And I'm super happy to hear your story. I love that you're investing into your kids. I'm all about mine, and I'm just so stoked for you. Let me go back to my questions, make sure I don't miss anything. So the spending, the hobbies, he's a family man. I love it. Absolutely love it. What is your favorite? I think you mentioned earlier, your favorite part of this whole plumbing thing is the team and building up the teams, right?
Yes.
So man, that's such a big deal. Like I've been focusing on the culture in my business, and we do certain things every morning to like break the ice and catapult their day, not just go to work. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what are some of the best practices because it's hard to control alarming. Let's just say
it is.
A lot of plumbers, it's hard. So what do you do to control this army other than setting rules and shit like that? Like, what are you doing to make sure they're actually doing the work the way you need them to do and culture?
I mean, we do daily huddles every day with the team. I really try to focus on our one-on-ones, and I try to make my one-on-ones be more about like what's going on in your life. Like, I've had men that I really respect sit in my office and cry. I've had, that's tough. That's one thing you're never prepared for when you have someone sit there and cry, and there's nothing you can do other than just, encourage them. But to keep our culture, we really try to focus on our one-on-ones. We really try to focus on knowing what's going on in each employee's life, on more than just a business level. Now, if there's something, that's when I do my private coaching stuff in the one-on-ones. If there's things that they need to work on, I don't bring that up in front of the team. I don't shame nobody. I just try to lift them up. But it comes kind of natural to me. I was always played sports growing up, and being on teams and stuff really helped me with my leadership ability. But we do breakfasts once a month. We get the whole team together. I cook for the guys. If they break a goal, I'll either cook for them or I'll take them out. One of my guys told me the other day I need to start doing quarterly quesadillas for them. But we do our breakfasts, one-on-ones, daily huddles. Just really trying to focus and keep everybody on the same page and make sure everybody's happy. It's that's really hard to do in itself. We do offer our pay base is hourly plus bonus tiers. So, I heard someone say on another one of your podcasts that working full commission breeds a lot of jealousy and stuff. So, that is something you got to deal with too. But our guys just feed off each other. I don't know if I just think a lot of our success and a lot of the cool things about our business and our branch here is just from being fresh the things that you want to implement from scratch. And they, it's not like you're trying to go in and reinvent the culture. And, so just like building it from the get-go. And it all comes down, like our ops manager, Sean, I mean, it all trickles down from him. The owners, Chris DeCampo, like it all trickles down from them. You got great leaders ahead of you. It just makes it easy because it all trickles down. That's what we do. That's what we do. Just really focus on really showing that we care about the guys, from a genuine level. It's not just about like a piece of paper filling out a form. This is what was done. Like, I legit care about my guys,
That's tight. I feel you on that one. I do care. To piggyback on that, I have this particular guy named Jesse in my company, and he's one of the business development coordinators. So he'll grab a plumbing business owner and say, okay, what do you need? And then just provide solutions, whether we provide them the services or not. It's like, that's what your business needs to fix that problem, right?
Right.
And he's a Marine. He's
Nice.
like 15-year Marine. He's also Mr. America, like the
wow.
last 4 years. So this guy's like jacked up, super yoked up, Mr. America. And one thing that he tells me all the time, and I like it because I feel that with him is iron sharpens iron.
Right. I love that. Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron. And you said it, when you got the dudes above you and the mentors are with you, and man, you're gonna it's true, the 5 people that we're around we're gonna be more like them. So be careful who you're around, right? I'm very particular about who I allow to be in my inner circle like that. I think I talk to people like you and my customers more than anything else, and my family, but my peers, my homies, my friends, I'm super specific these days, and especially because I moved from California to Texas. That means I gotta find new friends, and like kind of weird for an adult. So I just entertain the heck out of my family. We're doing something amazing every weekend, and along the way we meet nice people in the places that we enjoy, and that's been working for us. But I'm all about the family, and I'm all about my Strictly Plumbers business family and treating them like a family during Christmas time, loving on them with time and money and gifts. And so I love that you're building the team from a leadership position. And I've learned to like lead from the front and the back, both. Sometimes we got to do one or the other, to show an example and show them how it's done, or go behind them and make sure they're walking in the right direction. But we got to have that perception. And Blain, thank you so much for hanging out.
I did want to tell you.
What's up, bro?
To answer your question more specifically about doing things for culture, we did put in a tech lounge when we first started up here. It was kind of we got a tech lounge, we got the Xbox out there, TVs, and ice cream. We got ice cream, man. We got a freezer full of ice cream. That's the best thing you can do for your culture. Give them some ice cream.
I'm about to go get some downstairs, get me some rainbow sherbet or strawberry something.
We got all the things.
That's tight. I've seen it. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I had somebody tell me recently that they're throwing concerts. It's just like so much cool stuff that you can do. Blain, so cool to hang out with you, get to know you more. Good luck on the pump truck and catapult, all that good stuff, bro. If anybody watching this podcast or listening to this podcast learn anything cool, I think we dropped some good nuggets today. If you mentioned Nexstar, there's a handful of them out there. I built something similar to Nexstar. It's called plumbingbusinesscoaching.com. And my examples are not about service technicians. It's about like septic pump outs, drain cleaning, water heaters, and like hammering plumbing instead of like service techs and home service companies, and examples of and theory. So it's just like, so anyways, anybody listening to this, go visit plumbingbusinesscoaching.com. And if you want to kill your sales, go visit salestrainingforplumbers.com. Mr. Blain, show us that hat again, bro. I'm gonna take a picture.
Oh yeah, let's go. Where's it at?
Bring it out, bro. Look at that thing. It's so cool. I love it. Yeah, I got that picture. Let me take one more. I'm gonna take a screenshot on my computer because it probably look really nice compared to my phone. And, let me take a picture of you real quick, all by yourself, not even me. Get closer, get a little closer. There you go. Bam. That's pretty tight. That's
man.
pretty cool.
I've been following you for a while, Tony. You're doing big things, and I appreciate you. Appreciate the invite. Anytime you want to holler or talk about anything else, you know how to get a hold of me. I'd love to join you anytime you want to talk.
That's tight, bro. Thank you so much, man. I'll definitely be reaching out to you, if not tomorrow, maybe by next week, because time's flying here. But I'll connect with you. I think we have a good connection here. It's good conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. Have a good day.
Later, guys.